All right, welcome back to the Cavalier Insider, our Week 4 preview here in our new set, right? Andrew Ramspacher and Daily Progress Sports editor John Shifflett. Virginia coming into Week 4, taking on TCU, the 17th ranked TCU Horned Frogs, now of the Big 12. TCU very, very loaded and talented. We'll get to that there in a second. Virginia, on the other hand, 2-1, coming off a pretty ugly 56-20 loss, a whipping really down in Atlanta, where Georgia Tech ran its first 4 plays, already had 210 yards and 21 points. It was over from basically the time players got off the bus. I mean, it was pretty ugly. Offensively, again, offensive line is an issue. Failed to reach 100 yards again. We're quarterback sacked 2 times, really didn't generate much. Defensively, you have nearly 600 yards, that triple option that Paul Johnson ran, and 7 rushing touchdowns. I guess to pick up the pieces, John, where do you start from?
Well, I mean, Virginia just ran into, pardon the pun, they ran into a buzzsaw down there. They just got overwhelmed. They weren't ready for that triple option. They just got overwhelmed from the get-go. I mean, the best thing you can do is just have a short memory and forget about it. You know, this week's a brand new week. You win this week, you're 3-1. You've got to win over a top 25 team on the road, coming back home to play Louisiana Tech, and you could possibly end the month 4-1. So just you got to have a short memory and just chalk it up to a loss and move on.
Yeah, there's no doubt. This is a huge opportunity, really a golden opportunity for Virginia to steal this one in Fort Worth on Saturday. Another ESPN televised game, and like you said, the toughest opponent Virginia has faced to this point in the season, and might be good possibility the best team they'll face all year. If you look at the rankings right now, this is the only team on its schedule, because Virginia Tech dropped out after the loss to Pitt, that is currently ranked. So this is a huge one, and they're ranked for a reason. Offensively, defensively, very solid. Obviously, you hear about TCU, their days in the Midwest, Mountain West Conference, I should say. Really just kind of built a dynasty, almost Boise State-like. Coach Patterson has done a phenomenal job. He has a defensive background. When we talk about TCU, let's start right there. In his last 12 years, TCU has finished the season #1 in total defense 5 times. Just an amazing stat. This year, no difference. In 2 games, only giving up 6 points. Combined, that dominant defense, the Virginia offense coming in sputtering, you can do the math there.
Right. On paper, it doesn't look good for Virginia. They've struggled against lesser defenses, and TCU's has really got the job done this year. So Virginia's going to have their hands full, but they have the pieces to be successful. They just have to put it together. The offensive line has to block well, open some running lanes for the running backs, protect, for Michael Rocco or Phillip Sims, whoever's in there. The receivers have to run the routes, get open. I mean, the potential's there to do well, but they certainly are going to have their hands full against a loaded TCU defense this weekend.
Yeah, that defense, the defensive line, very strong. And again, going into a Virginia offensive line, which is hoping to get back Cody Wallace this week at guard. Connor Davis has kind of been forced in that role, that 3-man rotation. They haven't had that yet because of an injury to Wallace against Richmond there in Week 1. So they've kind of had to mix some things around, and that interior part of the offensive line for Virginia has definitely struggled. But moving to the other side, TCU's offense, guided by Casey Powhall. This guy is extremely efficient, 6 incompletions through 2 games. And really, if you look back at the tape, it could be less than that. There's been some drops too. And granted, they are going to be crippled a little bit. Starting running back Wayman Jones is out, and Wayman James, I should say, is out with a knee injury. However, they got some depth there in that position. They got receivers where they can kind of spread the ball around. Not a lot of weaknesses in that TCU offense.
No, certainly not. I mean, he is their leading rusher, but they also have had multiple guys run the ball a lot, so they'll be fine. I think they throw the ball a lot. Powell, as you said, has only had 6 incompletions. They've got 2 receivers here with already 9 receptions in 2 games. So they like to throw the football. They like to mix in pass and run. Virginia is going to certainly be challenged, especially in the secondary with that young secondary. This is probably the stiffest test they've faced all year. So we'll see what they can do.
And I think that Virginia secondary at least has a little bit more comfortable feeling this time around, because they're not facing that triple option. Obviously, that gave them a lot of trouble. With the assignments and things like that. Now, this week, although they are very talented, they play a TCU offense that is very similar to what Richmond played, what Penn State played. Obviously, Virginia's defense had a lot of success against those 2 styles. Back to that now with TCU as opposed to what Georgia Tech ran. with that, we'll kind of wrap this thing up. We'll give predictions, and John, go ahead and go first.
I think TCU wins the ballgame 41-24. I think TCU's offense is going to be really difficult to stop. Still think Virginia's offense can get something going here. They certainly have the pieces to get it done. They just have to put it together. But I think their offense is going to be a little too much to overcome. 41-24, Horned Frogs on Saturday in Fort Worth.
Yeah, I think 24 points, if they get to that, that's a lot.
It is, yeah.
I think
that's being generous.
I think that Virginia offense musters 14. TCU comes away with this one 38-14. And that will do it for Week 4, our Cavalier Insider Game Preview, Virginia and TCU. John Shifflett, I'm Andrew Ramspacher.